Hi, everyone. This is Will, aka Dr. Financial Literacy. Today, I'm going to start talking about working with some clients and a future client in terms of one, understanding financial literacy, two, looking at velocity banking, and three, how can velocity banking or accelerated banking, particularly a chunking method, can help to pay down the debt. So today met with a single parent today in Georgia, making about 26,400 in income, 26,400. Of the 26,400, 14,400 is going toward the rent. Now, this particular analysis is going to be limited in general, just to the basics, just to try to get this client started in looking at velocity banking in general and accelerated banking. So between her income and between her rent, she's left with about $12,000 a year. And there's other expenses and other utilities that she's working with, but we're just trying to start with the basics, help her to understand velocity banking and how it can benefit. Of this 12,000 that we have remaining, we're looking at three types of bills. We're looking at the electric, the water, the internet, and the natural gas bill. And these bills are $230, $150. Sorry about that. 83 and 80. So one of the things that I put out earlier was doing $500 green lock of what I call a green line of credit. For myself and a number of the other people, I attempted to get the HELOC, and because of my business credit and my personal credit, the numbers just were not adding up, I guess, according to the banks and the institutions in terms of my rental property and the income. Next, I tried to get an all-in-one mortgage, and that was a mortgage in which all three that I have mortgages will be placed into one, and I will be paying them through like a sort of HELOC. From there, I started looking at, okay, what other strategies are available to help reduce my costs in general. Started looking at accelerated banking and velocity banking, which basically is looking at taking chunks of money from other places and reducing your debt. From my experience earlier with velocity banking, I did well, and I started moving over to my business credit and trying to also reduce that and put myself in a different position. But I also wanted to help other people. So with this single mother, we talked for a couple of weeks to try to help her understand velocity banking. She really didn't have a lot to start with, but I provided her a green lock line of credit in terms of trying to get started. And that line of credit, $500 to try to ease into trying to do velocity banking and paying down her debt. We went through all her debt, put together a budget, and identified some of the bills that she think or feel comfortable with putting on her credit card. Now she has one credit card. I mean, she has a number of credit cards and a number of lines of credit. The highest one that we're looking at is about $24,000. So we're going to try to use velocity banking, the principles that I learned, providing her a $500 GLOC green line of credit from my company to get started. So what we did was identify some of the bills that she has that can be placed on a credit card. And she identified, okay, let's try the water bill, the electric bill, the internet, and also her natural gas bill. Those bills totaled $543. Now, her take home after all expenses and generally from $12,000 amounts after the rent in general $12,000. We have approximately all these bills here for the year amount to $6,516. So $16. Okay. So of that 16,000, it takes up look like over half of what she has remaining. So yeah, this is generally someone who's really trying to make it in general and just probably needs some help with understanding velocity banking and how it can work in general. So just to recap, this is a single mother in Georgia on income about 26,500 after taxes. Rent about $1,200 a month, 14,400 a year. So that leaves about $12,000. And just these four bills here, not including her other bills, amounts to about $6,500 a year. So that leaves her with a little than less than $6,000 in general. But again, we're also looking at some of the other debts and some of the other credit cards challenges. So the credit card that we're looking at tackling with velocity banking and the principles that I've learned is one that sits at $24,000, a little less than $24,000 with an interest rate of 29.9%. So let's go over to another sheet that I'm working on to help her to understand velocity banking and for us to use velocity banking. So now I'm sharing the screen that I'm looking at doing velocity banking with her to help her understand it. So what we see is this is a sheet that has some of the information on the velocity banking and how it can be used. And if you can see, we're starting with the 24,000. So starting in February, her balance on the credit card, as mentioned earlier, is about $24,000. From the $24,000, we hadn't placed any money on the card, and these numbers may be off because I'm still trying to put together the sheet and do the calculations. But here on the 10th, I provided her with the GLOC, and taking that GLOC that was placed on the card, and looking at across the top, we're looking at her balance, the bill money that will be placed on the card, the new balance, the interest rate, the interest day rate, and the new balance. And I've also calculated how much the interest is for the year and also for the month in general. Now here we see that this is where I provided the GLOC, and she applied it to the credit card. That should have went down, which it did. Then we had the interest rate to come back up. And so I'm still working on the numbers, but the main thing is that she placed the $500 that were provided as a GLOC or kind of small personal loan onto the credit card to reduce it so that she could work on some of the bills. And as I pointed out early, the bills that we're looking at attempting to start her down a path of velocity banking is the electric, the water, the internet, and natural gas for about $543. So this was just the beginning of a new client. Provided her a GLOC to get started, teaching her or helping her to understand how to move the bills from out of the checking account, from the debit cards over to a credit card, letting them sit there to bring down the average daily balance. I'm gonna do some more work on this sheet and doing the calculations. But yeah, I'm really am happy in terms of the way that velocity banking has worked for me. I'm gonna continue to use it on the business side and on my personal side, and expand out continually to try to help some clients in terms of improving their credit. If you would like to work with myself in terms of trying to get into velocity banking using a GLOC to try to get started to bridge it, please give me a call or shoot me an email. This is Will, aka Dr. Financial Literacy. I am an experimental political economist. I am not a financial planner, lawyer, or a financial advisor. Just showing you my information and what I have done to try to help other people understand velocity banking as I continue to understand it. Thank you very much for stopping by. Have a great day.